Hello everyone, Kyle from Deluxe Collectibles here, and today I'm going to be ranking all of the brand new LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising 2023 summer sets. These are going to be releasing on June 1st, which is super exciting because we've got some great sets here to look forward to, and I'm going to go through all of them here, of course, ranking them from my least favorite to my favorite. And just to preface here for this list, I don't necessarily dislike any of these sets, it's just which ones appeal to me the most personally. So without further ado, let's get straight into it here and start the list. Alright, now to kick off the list here, we're going to start off with the two 4+ sets, and these ones are at the bottom and in a combined spot because honestly, I don't think I need to talk about these two in depth because they don't really appeal to me personally, and I'm going to assume for most of you, they're probably the sets that you'll be least likely to pick up unless they're on some sort of sale or something, because all the figures here can be picked up in other sets throughout this wave that are much more appealing, at least in my personal opinion. But I will say 4+ sets of course have their place within any LEGO theme, and I think for these ones in particular you get some cool prints because of course they don't do stickers in these types of sets, and you get some great figures as well, so it makes it accessible to a younger audience, which is great, but they just personally don't really appeal to me. Now next up here we have all of the Dragon Power flip sets. We've got Kai, Nia, and Lloyd here, and these ones I've combined into one spot because other than the ninja and the color schemes here, they're all essentially very similar with the same sort of gimmick going on here. They all seem to be powered by these new dragon cores that they seem to be advertising for this wave. We'll see more of those featured in the other sets, but they're really cool here. Definitely the figures, as for most of the gimmick sets like these, are the highlights because you get some really great extra printing on these new ninja hoods here, which looks fantastic, and the torsos and legs as well look really great. I love how you've got some semi-transparent arms on all three of the figures here, which is really fantastic. So some great designs here for the minifigures. Definitely will be picking these ones up, but I think we can all safely say that they're kind of in the same spot here and hard to compare to some of the other sets. Now next up here we have the Imperium Dragon Hunter Hound, definitely a build that's giving off some Shima vibes to me personally. With it being a wolf design here, it would fit quite well within that tribe of Shima, and I think the design's pretty great here though. It definitely gives off that villainous vibe that they're going for here, but also has some nice highlight pieces as well with the golden like armor that it has on, so I do like that quite a bit and it fits well with the villains here. And I also want to preface here as well that I'm not going to be focusing too heavily on the minifigures in these sets unless they are the main focus, such as how they were in the previous spot here in the list, but that's primarily because I'm going to do a separate video ranking all of the figures, so stay tuned for that as well, where I'll dive more in depth on my thoughts for all of those. But overall, I say this was a pretty cool set, and it's definitely a nice like entry into the wave. Alrighty, now we have Zane's Dragon Power Spinjitzu Race Car, and that is definitely a mouthful of a name there for this set, but it's a race car. What else is there to really say? I think the last great Ninjago race car that we got was probably from the Sons of Garmadon wave with Lloyd's vehicle, but this one honestly is quite an improvement, especially since the one that we got in the Prime Empire wave, that was a bit of a stinker, I would say, at least sales wise, but I think this one at least has some more personality to it. I feel I love how they're using the dragon cores here to seemingly power up the vehicle, and it looks to have a play feature where it can sort of almost replicate Spinjitzu itself in the vehicle by spinning around, so I think that's definitely a cool feature there, and you do get some nice figures included here as well. But overall, it's got a great design. I think it definitely reflects Zane quite well and is one of the better race cars from Ninjago. Alrighty, now we've got Sora's Transforming Mech Bike Racer here, another set that's given off some vibes from another LEGO theme. I would say Overwatch here. It looks like a mech right from that game, and even the character Sora herself looks like an avatar from a video game, but definitely a unique looking design here. I do love the fact that it's a transforming vehicle, that it seems you don't have to take apart to be able to transform it. I absolutely love it when LEGO is able to pull that that off because it makes it so much easier and more accessible to be able to just transform it into its other form without having to rebuild parts of the set. And then you get a nice little build for the antagonist here wrapped in, which I think is a pretty nice build. I don't know how much of a chance it's going to stand against this mech here, but it definitely is still a cool side piece here, and it's still overall a pretty nice looking set. Now we move on to the Temple of the Dragon Energy Cores. Definitely a unique spin on a classic Ninjago temple. For one, I love the fact that it's more of a vertical heavy build here, because I think that's great because you get multiple levels on the interior, despite having a bit of a lacking for the depth of the interior of this build. It still looks like it's going to make for a great display piece, and I love the uniqueness of how it's almost like a tree is growing out of the temple, or that they built it almost like as part of the tree. I think that's a really unique spin to do for a set like this, and I think it just really captures that unique aesthetic for Ninjago of a very traditional looking temple. So I love that a ton, and I think it's overall going to be a great display piece. Alrighty, now we've got the Heat Wave transforming Lava Dragon, and I would definitely say that Ninjago Dragons Rising is living up to having some amazing dragons here. I think this is a great looking build. It really changes up the standard looking dragons that we tend to get from Ninjago. For one, I love the color scheme here of it being a more darker, toned down red here instead of just popping out all over the place, and you get some nice orange as well in there. Now there does seem to be a lot of stickers on this build here, but I do think it adds some nice details with almost having like extra scales to the build here, so I do like that quite a bit. And I also like that we get a villain vehicle here. Now I will say it's definitely quite small, similar to Raptins in the other transforming mech set. I'd say it's a little bit lackluster for that, but still kind of conveys that personality and look of the antagonist in this set. And then I will make a special mention, because the figure is exclusive here and is really cool, of Wildfire. I think she looks great, and I'm super excited for that character, and a great reuse as well of that Monkey Kid hairpiece. I'm really loving that, but overall it's a great looking dragon. Love the transforming feature here as well. It's almost like it can turn into a bit of a hunchback dragon. It's definitely lowered its neck quite a bit, which is really cool for the versatility of play here. So overall I'd say it's a really fantastic dragon. Alright, now we've got the Destiny's Bounty Race Against Time, a ship that of course we are all very familiar with, but in a really unique form here for this set. I love the fact that you have a dragon that you can put within this Destiny's Bounty to almost serve as the head and front of the vehicle, but it can also be separate on its own as well, and it has such a unique color scheme to it as well. I'm really loving the bright blue on that, so that's really great to see. You get a super nice interior as well in this set, where you can have all of the ninja and characters hanging out, playing some video games, relaxing in the bounty. I love that they're able to capture that in what almost seems like a smaller size bounty from the outside, but I honestly think it's kind of deceiving for the size of the set here. I love the wings as well. They look really great, how they're able to flip out. I think it all just looks fantastic, and I love that you get some highlights of that same blue from the dragon throughout the ship as well to kind of bring it all together here for the set. So overall I'd say it's a really great and exciting new take on the bounty. Alrighty, now we have the Elemental Dragon versus the Empress mech, and I love this set because I feel like it captures two of the best parts of Ninjago, both a dragon and a mech, and for once giving the villain a substantial vehicle here or build. I just love that a ton. I think it looks really great there. Honestly, a very nice mech build that looks like it could genuinely hold its ground against this dragon. That's my one complaint with Ninjago, as I'm sure you've seen throughout this wave ranking here, is that the villain vehicles are always a bit more lacking in size, but for once it feels like they've been able to strike a healthy balance here for this set. I'm loving that dragon as well, all of the electricity flowing through it. It's almost like a better version of the 4+ lightning dragon, so I do like that quite a bit. You've got a detachable bit as well for Jay to sort of fly around on his own, so I think that's really cool as well. There's a ton of great features here. I think it looks like these are both going to be some cool sets to play around with, and also for displayability as well, so I'm loving that a ton, and I think it's overall just a super fun set. Alrighty, now we have Lloyd and Eren's Ninja Team mechs, and this is such a cool twist on a mech set here. I love the fact that you're able to combine them both together here, almost as if Lloyd's mech is carrying Eren's and almost using it as a sort of armor. I really do love that a ton, and I like how both in the color and the size of the mechs they're able to reflect both of the characters. I like how Eren's is a little bit smaller. It's kind of reflecting how he is an up-and-coming ninja in Dragon's Rising, and then also I love how Lloyd's is much larger, kind of showing more of his experience here, and I think that's really great. I love that it's wielding a weapon as well. That looks phenomenal. The feet of it as well are so cool. It's almost like it's wearing like traditional looking like sandals, so I think that's kind of cool. It captures almost like a casual look to the mech here, and the head of it as well with the one sort of like eye or light at the top I think looks great. So really fantastic here. Eren's mech as well. I love the dragon head that's put into that. I think that's really great. Keep that Dragon's Rising aesthetic going throughout all of these sets, so I really appreciate the consistency there, and I'd say overall this is one of the best and most innovative mechs that I think we've seen from Ninjago. Alrighty, now we have the Ninjago City Market. I'm sure to no one's surprise here that this would take the top spot. I mean, it does have over 6,000 pieces and some phenomenal minifigures in this as well, but purely focusing on the build here, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. You have so much going on here, and it's once again a phenomenal like expansion to Ninjago City. It's got a unique aesthetic to it as well, with the little trolley going across both sides of the build here to carry minifigures. I think that is such a cool feature there. It just pops so much as well with the very colorful buildings going on here. You've got some really great shops as well. A ton of amazing stickers also throughout this set. There are so many that you can see here with Easter eggs to Ninjago and really cool references as well. So I'm really loving that a ton, and I like how it also keeps the traditional aesthetic of Ninjago as well, with like a cherry blossom tree on the roof of one of the buildings. You've also got the nice little bridge as well going across the water stream. I love that a ton. It's able to strike a perfect balance here in my opinion between having this really colorful aesthetic and also a very traditional natural feeling to it as well. So I love that a ton. Of course, the minifigures in this are phenomenal. I know I'm not really going to talk about these too in depth here, but you've got some great ones of course with Detective Zane. You have Misdemeanor included here. You've got so many fantastic ones for sure, and I'll go way more in depth on those during the minifigure rankings, so stay tuned for that. But there is a ton of phenomenal stuff here, so I really do love it a ton, and it is definitely a worthy expansion for Ninjago City. Okay, now that's going to conclude the ranking here for all of the brand new LEGO Ninjago Dragon's Rising sets, but now I want to hear your ranking down below in the comment section. Be sure to let me know your least favorite sets from this wave and your favorites as well. And once again, to reiterate, I don't dislike any of the sets from this wave. I honestly think they really knocked it out of the park here. This is purely a list just sort of kind of deciding which ones appeal to me the most and which I'm most excited for, and there are a lot here that I'm definitely super excited for the release of. So thank you so much for watching this ranking. Be sure to leave it a like down below if you enjoyed. Also comment as well, and subscribe if you want to stay tuned for more content. So thank you so much. I will see you all next time, and always remember, keep on collecting.